What is wealth to you? It can be hard to define, but it is basically an abundance of anything that you find valuable. Maybe for you, that's time. Maybe it's money. Maybe it's independence. One thing is for sure, you need to be crystal clear on what wealth means to you. I'm Aaron Moore with More Wealth Coaching. We are a Wealth Wave and How Money Works company, and we work with individuals and small businesses to help ensure they have long-term, consistent wealth. Milestone number 6 is a big one and an exciting one. It's where we're going to focus on your bottom line and how to increase your net worth. With all the advancements in modern technology, it's really increasing the quality and longevity of our lives. That begs one question. Are you going to be able to outlive your money? According to a recent study, 63% of Americans are more afraid of running out of money in retirement than they are of dying. And there's a 50% chance that at least one spouse will live to age 95. Here's the crux of milestone number 6. No matter what stage of life you're in, you need to start building wealth now. Today is better than tomorrow. There are 4 disciplines and 4 threats that I'm going to cover. The 4 disciplines are pretty easy. You need to start now. You need to put it on an autopilot with regular increased savings. You need to review your goals regularly, preferably with a financial professional, and you need to adjust as life hits. As I said, there are 4 threats that every wealth builder will have to overcome. Let's start with procrastination. It's really inaction. My suggestion to you is that you identify at least 5 financial goals, set them with urgency, and get started on them immediately. Time is a valuable asset that you're never going to be able to get back. Don't procrastinate on one of the most important aspects of your life, and that is financial goals. Next, let's talk about inflation. It's often called the tax of time. Over the last 100 years, the inflation rate has been around 2.8%. If you recall the rule of 72, you'll realize that means the cost of goods are doubling every 26 years. Don't let that scare you. Let that motivate you, and use the value of compound interest that we talked about early to combat the impact of inflation. Get started now with whatever you can do and start reducing the impact of inflation. The next enemy to wealth building is the impact of losses. Let's use a simple example to make this point. If you were to lose 50% of the value of your portfolio today, how much would you need to gain back in order to get to even? 50%, right? Wrong. You actually need to gain 100% back. That's probably why Warren Buffett was often quoted as saying, rule number 1 is never lose money. And rule number 2 is never forget rule number 1. There are actually ways to diversify or products available to help you against the impact of losses. Please get with a financial professional and see which ones may be right for you. And finally, the 800-pound gorilla of wealth building threats is the impact of taxes. Most of us don't like to pay taxes, especially when we're thinking about retirement. The strategies you put in place today can have a huge impact on how much is taken by the government, how much is available for you, and how much is available for your heirs. There's 3 general categories of taxing strategies. Taxing now, which is usually an investment account, where it may be appropriate for you to use that vehicle for wealth building. There's also your typical IRA and your 401k, which are tax deferred. That means you're not paying taxes when you invest the money. It will grow tax deferred, and you will pay taxes when you use that money in the future. And finally, there is tax exclusion, or tax exempt. That means you've already paid taxes on the initial investment, it grows tax-free, and you're able to use that income later in the future, tax-free. Now let's use a simple example. Suppose you're a farmer. Would you rather pay taxes on the initial seed and not the harvest, or taxes on the harvest? Of course, you'd want to pay taxes on the seed because the seed's going to grow into a larger harvest. That's the value of tax exempt. Now, there's several vehicles that you can work with your financial professional to help ensure you're using the right vehicle in your situation. So I covered several things in milestone number 6 on wealth building. We talked about the 4 disciplines of starting now, putting that on autopilot, reviewing your financial goals regularly, and adjusting as needed. And then we also talked about the 4 threats that every wealth builder needs to overcome. Those being procrastination, the impact of inflation, the impact of losses, and the impact of taxes. Please get with a financial professional and talk through the vehicles and strategies that are most important to you to build the wealth that you've defined, whether that being the time to do what you want, the money to do what you want, or the independence to do what you want. Please reach out to me and contact me if you want help with any of these strategies along the way using the contact information below.